It's only January, and somehow Honda has already given us the most confusing, most polarizing, and most hotly debated car of 2026. The Honda Prelude is back, and depending on who you ask, it's either a bold vision of the future or proof that Honda has completely lost the plot. After finally driving the production car, though, the truth sits somewhere in the middle. This isn't a disaster. It's not a triumph either. It's a good first draft that feels like Honda stopped writing just before the story got interesting. The problem starts with the name. Prelude is one of those badges that carries emotional weight far beyond its spec sheet. Even though the original Preludes were never true sports cars, memory has a funny way of exaggerating things. People remember VTEC screamers, sharp handling, and tuner potential, not quarter-mile times or curb weights. Slapping that name on a modern coupe automatically triggers expectations Honda was never really trying to meet. And that's the first disconnect. Honda wasn't trying to build a modern version of the old Prelude. They've been very clear about that. In fact, the engineers didn't even plan to use the Prelude name at first. They chose it because of what the word means. An introduction, a preview, a hint of what's coming next. This car isn't meant to be a revival. It's meant to be a test case, a rolling experiment for what sporty cars might feel like in a future dominated by electrification, automation, and efficiency mandates. Once you understand that, the Prelude starts to make more sense. Not perfect sense, but enough that the anger around it feels slightly misplaced. Mechanically, the 2026 Prelude is best described as a Civic Hybrid Coupe wearing a tailored suit. It uses the same 200 horsepower hybrid system found in the Civic Hybrid, with an electric motor doing most of the driving and a gas engine acting primarily as a generator. The difference is in the hardware around it. Honda borrowed suspension components and massive Brembo brakes from the Civic Type R, then retuned everything for what it calls a grand touring experience, rather than a track weapon. On paper, that sounds intriguing. In practice, it's complicated. The first thing you notice when driving the Prelude is how composed it is. The chassis is excellent. The car carries speed through corners effortlessly, and the adaptive dampers strike a really impressive balance between firmness and comfort. This thing feels planted, confident, and unbothered by rough pavement. You can push it hard without ever feeling like it's about to bite back. From a purely engineering standpoint, Honda absolutely nailed the fundamentals. But fundamentals alone don't make a car memorable. Acceleration is the Prelude's biggest emotional problem. With 200 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque, the numbers sound respectable until you remember the car weighs over 3,200 pounds. From a stop, there's an odd hesitation as the system wakes up, followed by a surge that feels decent up to about 40 miles per hour. After that, the enthusiasm fades quickly. It's not slow in an embarrassing way, but it's slow in a way that constantly reminds you what it could have been. Honda claims a 0 to 60 time in the low 6s, but real-world driving suggests something closer to the low 7s, unless you aggressively brake torque the launch. Either way, it's roughly Civic Si quick, which is a problem when the Prelude costs $10,000 more and doesn't offer the same level of engagement. And engagement is where things start to unravel. Honda's idea of the future includes something called S+ Shift, a software feature that simulates gear changes in what is essentially an electric-driven car. 8 artificial gears are programmed into the system, complete with engine sound modulation and slight torque interruptions to mimic shifts. The concept isn't new. Hyundai has already done it with their N-E-Shift system, and frankly, they've done it better. In the Prelude, S+ Shift feels like a video game setting rather than a mechanical experience. You hear the engine rev, you see the gear indicator change, but you don't really feel it. There's a faint bump during the shift, but it lacks the physicality that tricks your brain into believing something real is happening. If you're gonna fake it, you have to fully commit, and Honda hasn't gone far enough yet. Manually shifting with the paddles doesn't help much either. The powertrain is already smart enough to manage itself efficiently, so taking control doesn't make the car feel faster or more responsive. It just makes you more aware that the gears aren't real. Worse, using manual mode disables adjustable regenerative braking, forcing you to choose between fake shifting and fine-tuning regen. It's an odd compromise that feels unfinished. The regenerative braking itself is actually one of the Prelude's better features. You can adjust regen levels using the paddles, and holding a paddle locks the setting in place. At maximum regen, the car almost becomes a one-pedal experience, though not quite. Below about 10 miles per hour, regen disengages and you have to use the brakes. It's smooth, predictable, and genuinely useful once you get used to it. The steering, unfortunately, doesn't live up to the chassis. It's nicely weighted, but largely numb. You always know what the car is doing, but you don't really feel it. Combined with the car's momentum-focused nature, it creates a driving experience that's competent but emotionally distant. You're doing the right things, hitting the right lines, but the car never quite talks back. Honda's chief engineer said the inspiration here wasn't a jet fighter, but a glider. The idea was to create a sensation of smooth, effortless motion. That vision absolutely comes through. The Prelude flows down the road with calm confidence. The problem is that gliders aren't exciting machines. They're serene, and serenity isn't what most people want when they see the word Prelude on the trunk. Where the Prelude redeems itself is in design and interior quality. This is a genuinely good-looking car. In motion, it turns heads everywhere. Young drivers notice it. Older drivers remember the name. It feels special in a way most modern cars don't. Inside, the materials are a clear step above anything else wearing a Honda badge. The leather feels rich, the seats are excellent, and the overall vibe lands somewhere between a Civic and an Acura Integra. The rear seats are basically decorative, but folding them down opens up a surprisingly usable cargo area thanks to the hatchback design. It's a car built for hobbies, not passengers. Golf clubs, surfboards, luggage, it handles that lifestyle easily. Ride quality is another high point. Even with performance tires, the Prelude never feels harsh. Road noise is noticeable though, more old-school Honda than modern luxury coupe. Wind noise is minimal, and switching drive modes does create a tangible difference in damping, which is refreshing in an era when many drive modes feel purely cosmetic. Then there's the price. At $43,195, the Prelude exists in an awkward space. It's too expensive for enthusiasts who want performance per dollar. A Civic Si is cheaper and more fun. A Civic Type R isn't much more expensive and completely outclasses it dynamically. A Mustang or BMW 2 Series offers more power and personality for similar money. Meanwhile, buyers who care about efficiency and practicality can get a Civic Hybrid for far less and nearly match the Prelude's fuel economy and handling. So who is this car for? The answer is surprisingly narrow. It's likely aimed at Gen X buyers who don't need rear seats, don't care about drag races, and want something that looks cool, feels refined, and still delivers 44 mpg. Someone who walks into a Honda dealership for something sensible and walks out with something stylish because it feels like a reward. Honda expects to sell about 5,000 of these per year. That's roughly 400 cars a month nationwide. In that context, the Prelude makes more sense. It's not meant to be a volume seller. It's a statement, a probe into the future. The problem is that statements need conviction, and the Prelude feels like Honda stopped one step short of committing fully. Another 25 to 50 horsepower would transform the car. A sharper steering tune would wake it up. Refining S+ shift to feel more convincing would dramatically increase engagement. The ideas are here, they're just not fully realized yet. Which is why Good First Draft fits so perfectly. Honda understands the problem it's trying to solve. It just hasn't finished solving it. And that's actually encouraging, because if Honda keeps iterating on this formula, learning from this car, and listening to feedback, the next version could be genuinely special. The Prelude doesn't fail because it's bad.
It disappoints because you can feel how close it is to being great.